Hi there, welcome. I'm glad you could join us. My name's Kyle Lynch, and I'll be your host as we interview John Cox about his new book called Unaware If Only We Had Known. John, if you can hear us, can you just give me a shout or say hi?
Hello, Kyle. It's good to be here, and welcome to those who are tuning in to listen to this interview.
Perfect. All right, let's get started. So, my first question is probably an easy one for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Something about myself: I grew up in Cape Town, South Africa. I did studies in theology and psychology in Cape Town University and in England. And then I went back to Cape Town to be ordained as a pastor, and I worked as a pastor for about 30 years. Immigrated to Canada in 1985 and was a pastor there. I've had my ups and downs. I've been through divorce. I've been through depression for a few years, struggling myself. I've had quite a roller coaster, actually. I did some business consulting and have always done a little bit of writing, but this is my first book of fiction.
John, it sounds like you've had a lot of ups and downs in your life, and I imagine those experiences have just made you a better writer. So let's talk about your writing. Let's talk about this new novel called Unaware. Would you describe it to us? Would you tell us what it's about?
Unaware is two stories, really, Kyle. It's a story about Jack and Brenda, who are an estranged couple who's struggling in their marriage, but they're also experiencing a severe accident with their oldest son, Ricky, who ends up in a coma, and they're not sure whether he's going to survive, and they struggle to even find each other in that journey. And the other story is of God in heaven training guardian angels, five guardian angels, to help people like Jack and Brenda on earth, to walk alongside them. And so God gives them different experiences and encounters with human beings to help them understand the challenges of what it is like to be human on earth. And so those two stories weave together.
John, as I was reading your book over the last couple of days, I couldn't help but wonder if you had a target audience in mind or a specific type of person when you were writing this.
I don't think I wrote for a target audience when I reflect on it. I was just writing a story that I hoped would appeal to a large group of people. I've always been interested to try and make Christianity and spirituality simple. So my target audience, I think, would be of all ages, uh, possibly particularly those who are on the sidelines, those who are a little jaded maybe by religion or Christianity or church. Maybe some who have become disillusioned about God because of suffering or disappointment. So I hope the story I tell resonates with a wide cross-section of people who may find themselves attracted somewhat to spirituality, but not really connected at the moment in any way, and possibly are not sure where God fits in anymore because the God of love doesn't seem to be reflected in the world in which we live. So I've tried to address ordinary everyday questions in a way that hopefully has some integrity and some interest. But I'm not trying to be preachy, and I'm not trying to be hardline in terms of sharing an opinion or one particular perspective. I'm more about describing what I truly believe is a God who is very gracious and very kind, and people who live sincerely in a struggling and difficult world. So I hope there's something for lots of different kinds of people that will pique their interest and maybe cause some thinking and discussion and maybe reflection. I hope there's some good things for people to find in these words.
I would agree. I think it's a very accessible book, but it's hard to deny that there's a huge Christian influence on your writing. Are you at all worried that this book might be categorized as religious?
Is it very Christian or religious? I don't like the word religious. I think religious sounds very full of rules, and I'm not particularly interested in that. And it certainly is Christian based, but you don't have to be a Christian to understand the book. It's written in a contemporary language and contemporary style, and I'm trying to, I think, give a vision of God that is kind and good, and maybe break some of the stereotypes.
Do you think this book may challenge some people, may even ruffle some feathers?
Unaware will probably ruffle a few feathers in some areas where what I'm trying to do is paint between the lines, if you will, of traditional Christian teaching and understanding. For instance, somebody says, what's God like? What's it like for him to have relationship? And it's very easy to hear people saying, God is kind, he's like a father. And I'm just trying to imagine, well, what's it like to talk to God then? What's it like to be in his presence? What's it like to ask him questions? And so I have divided God up into God the Father, and then Gail is the Spirit, and Jesus is present as himself. And so some people will probably struggle with that. I'm not trying to rewrite theology. I'm just trying to convey in a metaphorical way something more about who God might be and how we might experience him. And there are one or two other aspects in the book that might cause some people to worry, but all I would encourage them to do is allow one's imagination to tell a story. I'm not writing theology, I'm telling a story.
John, now that you've published your book and it's about to hit the market, what are your dreams for this story?
I hope somebody reading the book will find the portrayal of God refreshing. I hope that they will have a curiosity, possibly have their appetite whet to maybe consider God in a different way. I don't have strong ideas of what people would go away with, other than maybe just not to dismiss the possibility of a God engaging on earth as in heaven, as it were. There's lots of mystery in all of this, and all I've tried to do is create a story where maybe some possibilities might actually be more true than we realize. Um, so I would encourage, I hope somebody is encouraged to possibly explore the spiritual life more than maybe they did, or maybe for others who have got a bit disillusioned or possibly a little dry inside, maybe it'll encourage them. I hope it will encourage them to not give up and to not walk away and dismiss God without possible reconsideration.
Wow, John, that sounds great. I truly hope that's what comes to be. My last question is more of a practical one. Where can we pick up a copy of your book?
Unaware is available on Amazon. As most booksellers will probably be able to order it for you. Barnes and Noble, and Kindle as well. It's coming online in Kindle very shortly.
Well, John, that's it. That's the end of my questions. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with me. And if you have any final words for our audience, now would be the time. So go for it.
Thanks very much, Kyle. It's been good to chat to you, and I hope people have found this little interview helpful. Take care.